Hi, I'm Christine Aquino, aka DJ KRISCUT. I'm originally from West Covina, California. I moved here to Vegas in 2003 and have been DJing on and off since then. Currently, I'm now a full-time DJ and Twitch streamer. So definitely have experienced a lot of evolution in my career. Came here as a hip-hop and R&B DJ, and now I play all kinds of open format, like everything you could think of, 70s, 80s, 90s, house, like just all kinds of different stuff I never thought I would be playing. So yeah, that's me, DJ KRISCUT. I can say I did not expect to or think in my lifetime I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be a DJ in Vegas. I actually had a singing group during the Pinay and Drop in Harmony era, like One Voice. During that era, I also dabbled in singing. I had a singing group where I was the original member and people were like in and out of the group, kind of like Destiny's Child. And we really tried. We recorded a couple of tracks and I just already knew music was my heart. I mean, I was playing the keyboard and piano. Organ, actually. Organ was my was my instrument, which sounds funny because people are usually like, do you play piano? I'm like, I started with organ. And so my mom and dad saw how much I loved organ when I went to the mall and I saw some guy just playing organ. I go, Mom, what's that? I want to try it. And it turns out I guess I was pretty good at it because they got me organ lessons. They found out I could play by ear when I was younger. So it was really cool. My organ teacher, shout out to him, Jeremy Miller. He was my inspiration. I tried to find him, but he called me his little prodigy, and I thought it was really cool because that's when I really knew I wanted to do music in my life, playing the organ, piano. I was at Filipino at the parties where my dad wouldn't let me play. He'd be like, play the organ first. you play for everybody, and I'd be crying, oh, I want to go play. But that's where my love of music came from. My parents really helped cultivate that. So that's actually part of the preface was after my singing group was done, bouncing back to the future a little bit. I felt like I wasn't sure where I was gonna go. I was already pursuing a music business degree. I was gonna graduate, and I figured, let me just have a little bit of fun. I was clubbing with my now husband, who is my teacher, and I'm just going with him to the nightclub. He would set up at 9 o'clock and DJ till 1 o'clock or 1:30 too, and then we would go to eat at 3. That was my early 20s where we had that kind of energy, and I didn't think much about it until one day he's just after weeks of going with him as a friend, just watching him DJ and me trying to just enjoy myself and meet boys, I was like, what, this looks really, this DJ thing looks really cool. I would probably like to try it. And he's like, whatever. I was like, you mean whatever? He kind of brushed it off. And I was like, I'm like, maybe I might be good at it. I mean, I did sing, and DJing, I was watching, and it's a lot of formatting and timing and spacing. I used to songwrite for my group. So I go, let me see if I can convince him to teach me. So one day he calls me up and he says, hey, I'm gonna teach my roommate how to DJ. If you want to come over, you can come over and try it. So I was like, okay, because we only lived 5 minutes away from each other. And I guess that's it, because when I showed up, he was teaching his roommate, who actually, his name is DJ Buzz. He actually moved to the Philippines and became a big DJ in Philippines and Australia. He was like, I'm gonna teach him how to scratch. You can just watch and you can maybe try. And I picked up a couple things really quickly. And I think they were kind of like, what? Oh, shoot. I guess I picked up fast enough for okay, she has potential. So that's when he was like, okay, maybe I should teach you. And that's pretty much how I became a DJ. When I told my parents I wanted to be a music major, what are you gonna, to quote my dad, R.I.P., I love you, Dad. What are you gonna do with music? Da-da-da-da. That whole... So especially I remember that rant from my parents, music, blah, blah, blah. And I know parents, that generation, they're watching out for us. They know, the account, my mom was an accountant, so I mean, she was the first Filipino of her family, her side, because of my mom, everyone's here. My mom is that person. She's the woman. She's, the person who brought all the generations here. But anyway, yeah, that did not go well. So they sent me to a Catholic school because it was the 90s. I know gangs were rampant, even though I lived like a block and a half away from like the public school. They're like, nope, we're taking you to Catholic school, which was like 20-minute drive. But anyway, they really like wanted me to find something besides music, as much as they cultivated music in me, right? So it's like in our head as a young Filipino with aspirations in the music industry, you're like, oh, well, it's really heartbreaking. So it's just to, like, really honestly to appease my parents. Sorry, mom, dad. Like, I got accepted with a computer engineering degree, like to do the computer engineering path. But once I hit college, I was very like, my parents were very, very, very strict. But once I hit college, it was boom. I was like all in on all the clubs. I played every sport. I was like, I just went wild, like socially, and like, the energy we had in our 20s was, of course, a whole other kind of energy. So all in the Filipino club, played all the intramural sports. I just like really let go. So obviously the computer engineering aspect, I go, you know what, I'm gonna go as a computer engineer, but try to explore other, options. Actually, even try to like quarter of graphic design, and that was a fail because the time of graphic design is even more, right? So it took me 3 years to actually figure out, like, let me just do my original plan. So college for me was very long. Like, actually graduated probably 3 years after I should have, but because I was still trying to find myself, because in my heart I wanted to do music. So the big switch, or what flipped the switch, was I was trying all these other things, maybe business, like blah blah blah. I just happened to walk into the music department and they had music with the emphasis in music business. So I was like, ding 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 ding, I can make my parents happy because there's that business on the side. They can't say anything because I'm learning all the business aspects. So music, emphasis, music business. So I was like, yes. So I started doing that path, and then that's what really like triggered me to be like, okay, good. Now I can pursue this safely. So I graduated from California. He became my boyfriend, my teacher. He became my boyfriend, and I had gotten an opportunity to DJ out here in Vegas in 2000 and like late 2002. This new club it's called Risque. Opened up. It's at the Paris. I think now it's called Sherry. But anyway, he got an opportunity. He's like, hey, just long story short, I know we've been friends for like a long time, 3 years. We can either like just call our relationship quits, or we can just have a little bit of a long distance thing, and you can come out here after you graduate and see what you want to do. So my senior project goal was to come in and intern at like Hot 97.5 or something, and it didn't work out that way. I came out here and it was hard to find a job and do whatever, but anyway, like I was DJing small things or clubs in Hollywood, and for DMK, RP to Doug Kandegawa, and like other little promotion places, just traveling and DJing. I didn't think much of it as far as a full-time gig, because I mean, if you think about Vegas back in 2003, there were venues, but it wasn't like a lot, And we were, at that point, people were independently booking themselves. There were not a lot of DJ agencies, right? So I had moved out here, carried over my day job which was selling vitamins. I helped open the store at the outlet. Still at that point, I was like getting one night a week where my husband was DJing, because they were like, oh, we're gonna do a ladies' night. You want to DJ it? And I'm like, okay, cool. And so I was like, okay, that's a taste of it. I mean, once a week, right? At that point, though, it really wasn't sustainable. I remember imagine getting like $300 once a week, and then you got to pay your rent, your groceries. I remember me we're both looking at each other like, how are we going to do this? Because back then, too, resident DJs, resident DJs in Vegas were like the low-key, behind-the-scenes heroes, right? For me, though, and my husband, we were DJing from like 10 p.m. to like 3 or 4 p.m. with vinyl records for just a few $100, So it wasn't like we were making Tiesto rockstar money, or that was not a thing back then. We were just the DJs who provided the music. They don't necessarily promote us. because they knew if like they promoted us, honestly, if we got big enough, we would leave the venue, right? So that's how that worked. But the moment I found out that this was pretty good was when I was doing 2 or 3 nights a week, like in different spots. And I was like, okay, this is sustainable. And then I quit my day job just to pursue it. It was interesting because, we were in the Asian scene in Hollywood and LA. And I think a lot of people thought we had like become like big-headed or something because we came here to Vegas to do stuff. But the funny part is like the mentality in Vegas is different. Like, everybody at home, they want everything for free. Get me on guest list, do this, whatever. We did as much as we could for everyone, but it's kind of hard when people are like, oh yeah, go check out KRISCUT and Slip. They're in Vegas. We'll put you on guest list, right? It's the hottest spot at the moment. And then as time goes on, of course, one spot dies and one becomes more popular, But anyways, being a female DJ, it was pretty difficult because, I really look like a kid. Like, in my early 20s, I probably look 14. Still, like, as Filipinos, we don't eat Asian dough raisin. So, like, I'm sure there were many moments people looked over. There were many moments people would, like, hit up the lighting guy, the person running the lights next to me thinking they're the DJ. Of course. I'm wearing the headphones. I'm the one touching the vinyl. But, of course, yeah, the guy with the... it was a little rough, and there weren't that many of us female DJs. I could probably name like 4 or 5 in like the mid 2000s that, we were doing well. We were all vinyl DJs. So we had okay work, but I think that back then I was very narrow-minded because I just wanted to do clubs, So when it comes back to the money thing, gosh, Vegas has extreme amounts of varying gigs for money, and that's what I'm learning now. So probably at the peak of my career now is not just I don't DJ nightclubs, I do lounges, I stream online, I do corporate events once in a while, I'll do a store like opens or whatever, somebody's big shower, like things like that, so it's definitely evolution. I can honestly say that it wasn't like I was DJing straight for 20 years. I had like 2 major fallouts in my career where I was like, F this, I'm gonna retire from DJing. But you always get pulled back when God says, nope, you're not done. So like first off was like probably when the club shut down. Like when I've been like in a few clubs where I was like the last resident DJ and then they've shut down, renamed themselves or whatnot. So, at that point too, if you're just doing clubs, you're pretty much, passed out. Like just, if a general manager changes, the venue closes. So 2 times in my career that were like huge reality checks, where I actually went back to like a typical 9-to-5 job, like happened where I was like, I'm going to retire. And then something would pull me back. I think one of the major ones was like 2010 and then one was 2014. So it's not like I was straight DJing. And then you really had to look at yourself. Especially when you're younger, you have a little bit more of an ego, I think, and that's what I noticed about a lot of DJs moving out here. And I've encountered a lot that were like, I'm gonna move out here and I'm gonna make it big and I'm gonna be the next so-and-so. It doesn't matter what city you come from, unless you have that crazy connection, like you're starting from the bottom here. Like I've seen a lot of people move back home, and that's okay because it didn't work out for them. And so, I realized I had to evolve, and I ended up like getting booked for a lot of corporate stuff, and that really helped. I feel like as a DJ, everyone hits this like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Am I gonna still keep DJing? So luckily for us, what happened was I ended up, long story short, met another DJ friend at an event because I was out networking, still like, I was doing this day job, and I was still networking, as a DJ because I didn't have any gigs at the time. I rarely had gigs. And I met somebody who had an event company, and then that translated into them opening up a Vegas branch, and my husband being a part of that. And now he's like one of the co-owners. And back then he was just DJing weddings consistently. So he went from nightclub to weddings, or like one-offs. Like he's a major wedding DJ, one of the best, I think. And then he ended up going with this event company, and now we do like rallies for Verizon. So in essence, like, he is now behind the scenes as opposed to up front, but he'll still DJ like some of their events, which is cool. And so I'll go to the events and I'll be like, registration. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm like a big DJ, like it's like, hey Tiesto, what are you doing? Like doing registration, you know? But like it's kind of cool to know that there's something in the background that we have to fall back on once I maybe decide that I'm gonna stop DJing, you know? I play so much like different music now. Like my head, I feel like sometimes the variety of gigs I'm luckily able to do, my head wants to explode because there's so much different music. I had to do like a club type thing at Marquee, but it was a corporate party. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like since I've been doing this for so long, there are times when I wouldn't mind rocking a club. I went to a club last night, checked it out, listened to the DJ, like the opening DJs, and was like, okay, you know, I could probably still do this. I don't know if I'd be able to headline a big club like I used to, but I think it would be fun to challenge myself and try to do it when it comes. But I mean, I'm not all about looking for my face on a billboard or like, you know, I think we all have different goals as DJs and success looks different to us in many different forms. Yeah, I'm not like, oh, I made it because I did this or that, like here in Vegas, you know? So I just enjoy like that I make an income and I make a living off of what I do. So I stream on Twitch, and the other day I did a completely new hip hop set, which I used as practice for myself, even though I know my audience is a little bit like, you know, in between the 30 to like 55, 60 age range. Usually play like 80s and stuff. But on Saturday night, I played all like, you know, the new music. And, you know, I know it's not for everyone, but yeah, keeping up with the new music is hard because there's just so much out there. You know that too, right? You're probably behind, you're like, oh, as a DJ, we're like, we rely on like crowd participation. So I was actually at another nightclub that played hip hop yesterday. Probably like 40% of the music I did not know. And I kind of thought about it and I was like, you know, I'm seeing these young kids around me, like half my age, just like singing along and rapping along and just like, ooh, I don't know this one, or ooh, I don't know that one. I'm like, should I know this one? But you never know music taste these days, because even like the younger kids are listening to the 90s and 2000s, so it's rough to keep up with new stuff, but we try. Thank you, Billboard, I guess. Billboard, Top 40, Spotify. I just did a party for 24 to 26-year-old MIT graduates. Imagine how difficult that was for me. I was like, that was just this past Friday. That was the youngest like crowd I've had. I had to do a 3-hour set. So I did just a little bit of research because I was sick last week. A little bit of research. And I mean, I think I pulled it off, you know, like, so you always wonder in your head, like, did I play enough of what they like? Or, you know, and plus the instant gratification generation we have, you know, they requested something. Luckily I was able to pull it off on Tidal, and they sang along, they had a good time. And as long as they said, hey, that DJ was dope for playing my one song, it's cool. For me lately, I've been more of a bar and lounge background DJ, right? So I don't get to, not that I don't get to party rock a lot, because I'll still, you know, there's still somebody listening, even if we feel like someone's not. But yeah, I mean, for that one party too, just like, I actually, like, we're lucky we have the internet open, had like pulled up a couple lists in the background to give me ideas, but as DJs, a lot of us don't have set playlists, just have a general idea, like you said. So just knowing I have a general idea, a group of songs I fall back on that are just, I know will work no matter what, even for all age ranges, just having that bubble of time, because you know every song's what, 2 to 4 minutes. You don't have a lot of time to think about the next song unless you want dead air, which is not good in a club or a lounge, you know, but on my, you know, on other platforms it's cool. But you know, my changing has evolved so much, especially too since I've been streaming online, and then just my music base has just grown so much, so I feel like I can accommodate now. Not everyone can go to a club. Not everyone wants to leave their house still. Like, there's still people scared. Some people are ill. We don't know that. You don't see the people, so I feel a connection to those people. Like whenever I hop online to stream my DJ sets, it's more for me, like, it's the music but also the connection, and that's why it's so important to me. I really made it a little family of friends, and I met a lot of them in real life, you know, that I would have never thought I would meet from all around the world and country. Just so crazy, the people that oh, that's what you look like. Like that's who you are, you know, like, and just the different personalities. Definitely expanded my opened up my world a lot. So streaming online is a blessing. As long as I have the ability to do it, I'm still gonna DJ for as long as I can. And now being online has totally expanded and opened. That Twitch channel is just, I mean, that's opened up my world so much to where if I could be 80 and still on a Twitch channel playing 80s, I'm on it. I'm on it. You see, Lola KRISCUT, I'm gonna be there. You know, just as long as somebody's there to listen and you know, the event company is going well. So I mean, if I ever decide to just step back, I feel grateful that my husband and I are part of a wonderful event company, Mode Events, that step back and okay, you know, like right now they're traveling the country doing these rallies, and I'm gonna go along for the ride and work a couple of days, and I still get to see the country. So it's really cool. So to me, like success is like, hey, I'm playing and making a living, paying my bills, and just doing what I love.